international business, like Anita, currency exchange, very important. Um, Lawyers, immigration, other visa, other attorneys that need to work, global tax advisors, because everything you do is very different. You don't want to trigger a bad situation. So I think when we have very strong economic development, business people, residential leadership like Paula, we showing up to really share their country with everyone and then giving and rewriting the message, but using the technology because this is one thing everyone wants. I want to lead. I want a referral. Many people, unless you really love people to network, you're there really to network, hopefully create an opportunity, serve people, give back, and make some money, right? And I would just say most of the people, if you're in your earlier age, it's 9 to 5. You got to start building your assets up. Later on, you could be a little more charitable. You don't really need the income. Maybe it's truly altruistic that you can give money away or volunteer all your time. And we do know people like that, right? They did quite well and they just want to volunteer because retirement, so many, Doug, probably like you, just retirement is not as fun as people think without anything to do. A lot of friends that have grandkids, they can only watch grandkids so long. They can only travel the world so long. They can only golf so long. Some of my friends, and I'm just like, they're like, I got to do something. I got to do something. I can't have pleasure without purpose. So a lot of times people tie it together and it's not like you're in the weeds. It's not like how you had to grind when you were a lot of friends, attorneys, and they just kept going, going, going with their law firm or others. But, with this, Doug, it creates the opportunity for everyone, knowledge, and we hope with the new technology, referrals, sponsorship, research, to help everyone really grow their business. And if we help everyone do well, I will say Tom Trongo has quoted this and shared this with me. You can do good, you can really give back, help out. And Doug, I'll tell you, if I had to work 9 to 5, couldn't do this. It'd be too hard because I'm already giving half my time to my daughter. So if I have to put in the time, Ellen knows this too, and so does Scott. If I didn't exit the way I wanted, it would be very, very difficult to volunteer as much as I do. It just couldn't do it. You got to take care of your family first. So anyway, that's kind of the whole vision I have with you with Global Chamber is to really share the world, create these global opportunities. And if you don't have to stay in the US or England or Europe or Middle East, go move somewhere else. And I'm sure Paula will share, and Anita will show how we can adjust the currency and start stacking our US money somewhere else and live quite well, like Thailand. Been to Thailand. I have very good friends that bought in Phuket, uh, in Bangkok, Chiang Mai, on the island. I mean,
Yeah.
good friends. Yeah.
Yeah, you're amazing. That's awesome, and that's a great summary. What ideally, because our featured guest isn't here yet, the fellow that I did mention, Andre, is here. So, Andre, did you hear about this conversation through the meeting that we just had with Cesar? I was just mentioning about how you're now in Moscow and you've got a variety of different things going on in Belarus and in the Middle East, including your former base. So I'm happy to, if you're open to it, share some of that in this conversation. I think perhaps Jim, building on what you had mentioned, it would be great to get both your input and Ellen's input and everybody's input on some of the programming that we have coming up that we've mapped out. One of the big events here that relate to the economic development side of things is Select USA, which is, I believe, May 4th through 6th. It's whatever that week in May is for. I think it's 4 through 6 in Baltimore, Washington, in Maryland, actually, in Gaylord. And so we have at least one side event planned for that. We do have two very significant economic development members in that region. One is the state of Maryland, and the other is VEDP, the Virginia Economic Development Partnership. And so both of those are on our list. I reached out to both, and both of them are pretty focused in on Select USA. We may be able to pull them in for one of these meetings, but I think those probably should be a priority. And then as far as some other ones that are interested in doing kind of that triangle conversation where we have the economic development group, we bring in commercial real estate, and we bring some business folks in. Malaysia, both MIDA and Motrade, we have a great relationship and a membership by both sides. The Singapore and a new chapter that we have coming up, and a really outstanding person that we have there that has a lot of connections into Malaysia as well. We have the Japan event that we were doing in LA was going to be either the 14th or the 21st of May, but now it looks like it's going to be May 27th. And so probably in May, it'll make sense to do something in advance of that event because of the significant foreign direct investment by Japan, not just in the US, but around the world. I would suggest another conversation with Mark Pierce about the Taiwan component. There's some other things going on that we've got in Taiwan that I think would probably be worthwhile instead of like last time where he was in his car, where we schedule it a few weeks in advance and really do a good job with that. I also had an amazing report by our Kenya team. Really just so impressed by their knowledge of the market and the opportunities that are there. It's just so rewarding to see that team come together, and they are doing a series of events coming up the next few months. I think maybe there's less interest by, certainly people in the US about Africa compared to US focus, but I think Africa is important. I think there are certainly people that are interested, and the opportunities are really outstanding. And we've got that triangle set up with the economic development teams, commercial real estate, and business. And then just quickly, a couple other things that we have queued up: the UAE, Saudi Arabia, New York, and then, always have California. So those were some of the things that we have coming up, and wondered out of those, how should we or would we prioritize in terms of who we select in what order? Any ideas? Oh, Jim, let's see. Is Jim on mute?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Jim or Ellen or anyone else have some thoughts?
That was a lot.
Oh,
It was a more of
sorry about
a soliloquy than a question. So we were like, how do we break it down? So I'm sure, Doug, we were just interested in hearing what you had to say,
oh,
and I think we didn't know it was a question for all of us. But
oh, I see. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
but
I think I two elements of that. Generally, are we on the right track in terms of topics? How do we balance global locations like a Kenya? When I read through what the opportunities are, it's amazing, and how the work that they've done to document it is really quite extraordinary. But I'm assuming that for what we're going to do the next couple months, that we should probably mainly focus U.S. I don't know. Those are some of the kind of the feedback.
yeah, and Doug, I would just say this: if we market and use the system and Globi and everything correctly, it will attract those that are interested in the country, and that's why having a format of
Okay.
one. We talk about certain cities. We know certain hot cities right now that like Dubai, right? Dubai. Everyone's been talking about Dubai for a very long time. In the US, it's TSMC, I would say a lot of it, which is a big hub, not the only one, but a big one. And we go talk to those topics with everyone. But the biggest thing is two things. I always say it's culture, which the Global Chamber has the culture. You got to create opportunities for the referrals and business creation within Global Chamber for the members. That is what we all need to work on. I'm sure, Paula, wouldn't you love it if we showcased you We're methodical about how the golden visa things work, archiving information you did, and then anyone interested in Portugal connects with you. I'm sure you and many other real estate would raise your hand. And Anita, same thing, right? Anyone that does currency exchange, you would love for them to call you because this is lead gen, right? From there, it does, matches up. And Doug, and I've done these things before. And Scott knows, and Ellen does. It's a mix and match of balance of those who are loyal to you, those who helped you build with the right service. Service always comes first because without the right service, selling something that's not quality is a bad reputation on the organization. And two, you need to give people that knowledge, connecting the right referrals, balancing out the sponsorship. Because just like we said, CBRE would say, I want it all. We worked with every single one of the commercial companies or any organization and companies. They want exclusive. Can't give them that unless they pay for it. And then, Doug, it's really with leadership, how you balance money versus loyalty, skill set to really build an opportunity for everyone. Because you can't pay to play everyone, because then a lot of people that have been loyal can't be factored in. And I'll tell you what's worse is as success builds in any organization that there's quantifiable leads, you will see big money coming out of the organization. And this is what happens where startup and everything, their culture changes because big money comes in. When big money comes in, it wipes out everyone else, the little guys, because big money will take over. Then it's a balance of how do we give opportunities for everyone? But the referral system with agents and stuff on a brokerage end is fairly easy until bigger brokers come in and they realize there's an opportunity, and then bigger sponsors. Anita, we could get JP Morgan Chase if we got so big, and they'll go, oh my gosh, this is a great opportunity. We can do hundreds of millions of dollars of currency exchange. Who wouldn't want to do it? You probably know those people, but Doug, this is the thing, how we create as we brand the people within Global Chamber, create a pathway and make adjustments because I would always say transparency, clarity, letting people know how they would get compensated, how they would be involved, makes people feel good because there's no surprises. And then we obviously all care about Global Chamber to raise more dollars to free you, Doug. We all love you and care about you, is to get there. So there is a plan, Doug. And the good thing is, not my first rodeo, as Doug, Ellen knows. I do it so much, I just kind of in my head, and everyone hates this. I don't always write it down on paper because it's just in my head of how I do it, but I have been doing it because it's not rocket science either. It's having a formatted system, plugging it into organizations that it will work for. And Global Chamber, it will work fantastic, but it will take hard times implementing it, organizing it, fine-tuning it. And then it's done for you and maybe somebody higher for business development on reaching out to people. I mean, Ellen and Scott knows this very well. If you're not paying people, it's when you have time to do it. We're volunteering then. But later on, when you hire like Cesar to work on it and you bring in the cash flow, you can start hiring, right? And then you always want whoever you bring in to have a margin of profitability above what you're paying the expense. So anyway, everyone knows the business thing, it's executing. So that's what I want for this part, is to start getting Anita currency deals, giving Paula people why you should live in Portugal, right? Those that are loyal, those that have been around, to give them the first mover advantage of to speak, to showcase them, but to plug in globally to everyone, Doug, that's the whole thing. And it is a balance. And I just want to let everyone know it will outgrow all of us. And we do need the infrastructure, right? Sponsors and bigger players that they may, right now it's Ellen and I. Doug, pretty soon it could be CBRE using their name. CBRE executives may go, oh, I like this. We want to be hosts. We want to do this, which money plays. So I know this. We all know this. This is just the evolution and change. But anyone else, it's the goal of making it very profitable, sustainable, and then creating opportunities. And Doug, it's up to you and the rest to organize. Are we a small mom and pop company that sells burgers, or do we eventually turn into McDonald's that they systematize and go public. It's the same story, right? Everyone, we all know this. David and Goliath, all of us right here are smaller businesses. And there's some big ones that come into the neighborhood and very hard to compete, Doug. And you know this. You worked at the big ones with DuPont. So doesn't get much bigger than that.
Well, thank you for your vision and your support. So yeah, we definitely look to scale and build the systems to be able to do that. Ellen, I apologize for not mentioning Canada as part of that. And so I think in terms of one of the routes of supporting this systematic growth is to have the programming and have it several weeks ahead, have the key folks, the key regions identified with excellent speakers, reach out to engage more people to the conversation. And so I think when I think about this particular meeting as part of what, Jim, you just laid out, I think there's the content, and I think those ideas that I listed out we'll use as a starting point with any input that you guys have. The speakers and getting some of the key business leaders, economic development leaders, and real estate leaders into each conversation, and then do the marketing so that we're 3 or 4 weeks ahead instead of like with this week. Our speaker did confirm a week ago, but hasn't confirmed. And sometimes with these international folks, you don't know for sure because of things that are going on in the world. So we'll do a better job on that. Hopefully he does able to join. Ellen, how are you and how are you feeling? And do you have any thoughts?
Thank you, Doug. No, I'm feeling well. Thank you so much. I just my son just had a 2 week spring break, so I took 2 weeks off and so went on a trip. So very relaxed now and now getting back into the groove of things.
A
Yeah.
different trip than the cruise, or
Oh,
was it the cruise?
just the three of us. We went to Hawaii for,
Oh, okay.
to relax a little bit, but it was really interesting. I was thinking, I'll get lots of sun down there, and then of course there was the storm down there. So, sometimes in life, you just take it as is and be appreciative of everything you have. I think that's the most important thing. And just enjoy every moment. I think it's important for all of us to live in the present time and enjoy everything we have because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, the weather can change, on the dime, right? So that's why I take everything for granted. We can't take everything for granted. We have to be appreciative and have to have gratitude towards everything. So a couple of things that you did mention is that I think we did have talked about a preliminary outline in terms of speakers, from various different countries and areas. And then so I think the main thing is we probably need to focus on the area, like where our members are located and where the interest level is. So I'm glad that Paula is here and I'm glad Anita is here. Maybe share with us sort of the target area market, maybe which continents is important, because I know we already have a preliminary schedule set up. It's more about making sure the speakers are here to present and share the economic development, also investment opportunity in those areas. So that's how I feel. But I do think maybe with the current situation, you may focus on what the member feel is the most important. Because I do feel globally, I think Europe is probably pretty stable, and North America, Canada will definitely open for new investments from both Europeans and from Asia too, because we're doing a lot of business right now. So I think that's something maybe for Canada, I can bring someone in to talk about it and see to discuss about various different opportunities too. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
With USMCA and what's going on with that, we did create a 3-part series on from US, Mexico, Canada, and talking about trade and what's going to happen and things like that. So we might want to tie what we're talking about here over into that, and I can share with you kind of the time frame for that. The next one is April 16th, and then there's one in May and June. And so we may want to tie those things together. And the reason why I bring it up is that as far as that relationship, the mega region, the Canadian government has been the most prickly of the three countries, prickly in the sense of very negative and kind of taking a negotiating stance that's quite harsh against the U.S. We had a U.S. trade representative speak to our Arizona District Export Council, and he was government official, so he was being very polite. However, he basically said that there were two countries in the world that seemed to be anti-U.S., both beginning with the letter C, and the other one being China. And so there's a feeling by the U.S. government that the Canadian government is acting in a way that's, shouldn't be any surprise given what the U.S. has done. But there are still a lot of emotional things going on that should be understood by everybody doing trade. So certainly I'll circle back on that with you.
Yeah, I think one of the thing is that I guess the current government is more, how should I say, the sentiment is more towards expanding into other countries in
Yep.
terms of trades, in terms
Which
of
is good.
opportunity, because needs to diversify considering, the situation. But so that's the reason why I think it's important for everybody to understand what are some of the opportunities available. Is not just focus on the North America, but also expand into other areas too. So, and
Well,
I think that's why Global Chamber plays such a big part, because we need to understand the sentiment of not only the politics, but where the business, where the money is flowing. And of course, Jim had mentioned a lot about, talking about investing, but even UAE, like everybody, all the money was pouring over there. But, look at what happened with the war, and all of a sudden, like funding stopped, and, there's just a lot of things going on. However, not saying that it's just that right now people are just trying to figure out, where's the safe place to go to. So I think that's really the key. Yeah. Okay. Did we lose Doug?
We did.
We did. Okay. Well, I think maybe Anita, why don't you share a little bit about what you would like to see, like in terms of areas? Because I think Doug was trying to get an idea of where the members would like to see. Yeah. Go ahead. I'll give you a couple minutes to talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much. So as you all know, I represent several currency exchange companies, and my like most of what I focus on is U.S. companies sending payments to other countries. That because my support people are here in the U.S. That being said, I have the ability through the various companies that I represent to open accounts for people not only in the US, but Canada, the EU, the UK, Japan, Australia. Malaysia just came on board, Turkey, and a number of other countries. Um, so I personally tend to focus on the US, Canada, and the EU because those are the easiest ones to open. Um, but that being said, if through this group, there's focus on properties all over the world. That's perfect as well, because there's always going to be a lot of people from the US on board or from the UK or Canada. And the whole point is they're looking into investing there. They're looking into investing in the UAE or, Dubai or wherever. And as long as the money's flowing in that direction, then for me, that's ideal. I mean, that's how I met Jim in the first place, was through FIOPSI. When I was very active there, I spoke at one of their meetings. And so my focus in terms of currency exchange started with real estate, not necessarily commercial, because FIOPSI tends to have a lot of residential um, membership as well. But I originated loans for a commercial real estate bank for a while. And so I'm also very in tune with commercial real estate. So I'm fine, with any of those, and would love to speak. I don't know if I spoke. No, I spoke for Renaissance, I think.
Mhm.
Yes.
But I would also love to speak about currency exchange. Just give an overview
Mhm.
A lot of people don't even know what it is about currency exchange, why it's so important. But when you think about it, if you're spending hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on a property, it's one of those costs that you are absorbing, but you're not aware of because, even if you're giving a quarter of a point or half a point or an extra point to your bank because they're charging you more because they don't even like to do currency exchange, when you multiply that by hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, that's money that you could buy a whole nother unit. You could buy a whole nother property. You could, if it's residential, you could be remodeling the kitchen. I mean, that's tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands that you're giving away. So it's a hidden cost that people aren't aware of. So yeah, so world's my oyster, but my focuses are US, Canada, and the EU. Thanks.
Well, I think, Anita, you're right. A lot of times is people don't know where to go a lot, in terms of getting the best rate for currency exchange. So with, what you can offer a lot of times is much, much better than, the bank rates or even some of the currency exchange rate. And of course, these companies are around for a long time. So it, reputable companies and provide you with really good rates. So I think it's important to, if you have any needs, please reach out to Anita. And Paula, I know Portugal. So how are things going? Please share with us. I know you've been talking, trying to get some investors over there. I know a lot of people are looking in that area. I have quite a few friends already traveled there. Look as so thinking about moving in there. So share with us a little bit what's happening over there in Portugal. Thank you.
Um, Hello, everyone. Um, yes, Portugal, fortunately, is we have a poem, an old poem from the most well-known Portuguese poet in the world. The guy lived 500 years ago, and he said he lived in the time of the Portuguese discoveries all over the world and the beginning of Portuguese Empire. And he said that Portugal is a small garden planted by the sea. And it is what even now describes better our country. We are very small. We cross the country in almost half a day or one day by car. And we keep on being very peaceful, very smooth, soft costumes, soft habits, and we have the sunshine that apparently the world has now discovered. And fortunately, people are rediscovering Portugal. Is I think is the payback for we did for 500 years ago. So yes, we have foreign demand regarding investments, commercial investments, mainly hospitality. They drag a lot of foreign investment, hospitality, because Portugal nowadays has our gross, how do we say, GDP is 20% of it comes from tourism. So it's a lot, and more than 20% last year. So hospitality business is growing all over the country, not only in Lisbon, Porto, and Algarve, the very well-known Algarve, but it goes now also to interior areas, like Douro Valley, the wine region. And it has got some big relevant hospitality developments in high-end segments where they charge 1,500 euros per night, for instance. That's a luxury trend that we are seeing here. So, and yes, we keep on having a lot of individuals demanding for residential properties. And again, they are moving to other areas of the country for several reasons. One is that the coastal side is getting very expensive, of course. And the other regions offer, in a lot of cases, a quality of life that you cannot get in central hubs for the same cost. So, this said, we are still that little garden that attracts people now, and I'm open to help anyone that wants to come. Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you so much. And then looking forward to discussing more about having you talk about investing in Portugal and more details regarding that. Scott, just any quick update from Renaissance Global in terms of the weekly meeting or anything that's coming up? Please share.
No, nothing new. I mean, it's we're switching the Friday meetings to Monday, but that's still a few weeks away, so that announcement's coming. But I do more than just Renaissance, Ellen. So I'll speak a little bit on the obviously I specialize in business brokerage, property management. So I don't think it's necessarily the crowd that I'd get a lot of referrals from. Always happy to refer back to everybody here. Both obviously, Paula and Anita, what you do is so unique that I have nobody else would even come to mind as a second. So that's good news, right? Like, I mean, it's good to have that niche, I think. Getting back to your original thing, your question as far as what to do, I'm a proponent of succinct, direct, quality meetings. I don't always think meetings have to go an hour. So I'm just giving you my opinion on meeting structure, where I think this is where I dipped in when you guys started. So I just think personally, it's hard for me to answer that and help without any analytics. Like, I don't know where the deal flows are going. I don't know where the members are that Global Chamber has. And so some of the analytics, it would be hard for me to give an opinion without having some of the information on who the audience is and the different connections and things like that. I definitely think, for me, just as a commercial real estate guy, I think that having topics, what I would be interested in, and we've talked about this before, is what is the opportunity for me as an investor to invest in Canada, in Portugal, right? I mean, and then Anita, you come right in on that, right? Okay, when you're investing, then here's your money exchange. I mean, I think some of these things just naturally flow without having to have a speaker about, everything is kind of ancillary off of the other, right? So all of that within a case study. So what would be interesting to me, like you talk about Dubai, and I see all the stuff. I watch videos about robots and all the cool stuff that's happening. And then I keep going, right? So what would be interesting to me when we talk about how Dubai is growing or what's happening there, what I don't know, and I'm on a bazillion webinars like everybody, is what does that really mean? Pick a property, and I think there's levels of investors too, right? These don't have to be trillion-dollar prop. I'm being dramatic, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, what's transacting there? And Paula, yours is perfect, right? You talked about hospitality. Okay, but then show me some properties that are for sale. Show me some investments that have been done. What is the return? How are the partnerships structured? What are the legalities for an American? I think you've got to start US because that's somewhat of the money flow. But again, I don't know our audience. So anyway, I don't want to take this over. We all do this stuff all day, but I just think when you're talking about quality meetings and attracting people to these meetings, I think that's what I would see would be a big help. Just taking Portugal, what would be great to know in 15 minutes, right? You can't go too long or you're just going to lose people because only so many people are interested in that particular topic. But if you take Portugal, what I would love to see is what's listed, what's closed, how did the transaction go? Again, what are the legalities? What are the tax ramifications for me? How does that work? Now you got your tax person, you got your money exchange person, you got your broker, right? And then you can start bringing in, you got your team of architects. Like, I have no idea how I would invest in Portugal. I know I would send them to you, but I could be sending somebody completely worthless to you that's just like, yeah, Portugal sounds great. I mean, how can I invest there to whatever fractional share and then use that for my tax advantage so I can go vacation there, right? Like I'm sure, Ellen, you did some business in Hawaii, like we all do, and so to me as a commercial guy, I'm just using just my opinion, do whatever you want, but that's what would be interesting to me is show me really what we're talking about. Let's have an actual flow and a speaker for these countries, and you have so many countries to choose from, right? I mean, I'd be interested to know if you're in Portugal and you're going to invest in Canada, what does that look like? I mean, not something super long, but even a 10-minute little thing that you record and have in a library or something. To me, that would be interesting, even though I'm sitting in the US and I have no injection into that transaction.
I love that, and I love the idea of a framework that we provide to these folks that come in of what do we want to hear from them. I love that.
Yeah, me
To me,
too.
if this is the commercial arena for commercial practitioners and investors, that's it. Like I can't do much with money exchange unless you show me how I'm going to invest. And then here's who you go to for the money exchange when you're doing the transaction. I have no idea what banks. Now I'm not an international guy. I broker management companies and I do multifamily in San Diego, but that's a speaker you could push out, in my opinion, when you talk, Paula, about the stuff you do. That would be interesting to me to have not just you talk about a transaction in Portugal, but then 5 minutes of
Yeah.
either a developer, an architect, a banker, that stuff.
And Paula and Scott, what I like about that at least in my mind, clarifies something is that from Scott's perspective, he's got that view. Yesterday, I had a conversation with the CEO of an insurance company called Gallagher. They're like one of the bigger ones, right? Or maybe one of the largest ones in the world. And I was explaining Select USA to him, and he didn't. He couldn't imagine really what it was. He's the head of the global activity, but he had not been exposed to it. So when I mentioned about investment and there was around, he was like, well, like, who are they really? And so from the standpoint of a business, what's happening with Select USA are businesses are coming to find sites, to find connections, to be able to put a facility in, to be able to manufacture in the United States. And so there are CEOs and key executives of these companies. They'll have a little bit of a different cut, Scott, from you. However, a lot of the same type stuff needs to be shared. And so I think we could probably create a framework that would be good for them and good for somebody in commercial real estate. What does everybody else think?
Doug, let me just add, we should, as we start building up our revenue, be at certain events like Select USA or others, because what we're creating with Global Chamber, with the numbers, is beyond and bigger. Select USA, like you were saying, is more specific. But if we add this large network with research reports, because to go to Select USA, it costs a lot of money, it takes time, you got to be there. Most of them are sponsored by big companies or agents that are interested in picking up business, right? Ellen's been there, I've been there, right, Ellen, back then, and we know what it is, like MIPIM. But you can't go everywhere. Global Chamber, with your vision, we can be everywhere and then focus on where we need. But Global Chamber, in time, as we build the budget up, could get a booth there to get part of people from Global Chamber or volunteers that want to get business to manage the booth. I mean, the good thing is all of this has been done before. It's just applying different, I would say, as Scott says, case studies, ideas. It's not rocket science. It's not something so innovative. But the hard part is what you've done already, Doug, is getting the people together. That is very hard to build an organization to get these type of numbers. Very, very hard. Now it's just, as we all know, taking it to the next level, adding systems, right, and infrastructure, and then increasing our income and everything else. So, you could do more. But all of these events, Doug, there are, with Global Chamber, we should be there. We should have a booth or speaking opportunities, as a moniker of Global Chamber.
Yeah. No, by the way, this feels harder than getting here. And why I say that is there's so many different things to do that right now it feels honestly a little bit overwhelming. And so it's kind of, we had our global board meeting like a couple weeks, I think it was only maybe a week ago, or I think it was just last week.
About 2 weeks, yeah, a week ago.
Oh my God. So it's like time flies when you're having fun. So, which I've got to summarize that. But I came out of that meeting so energized and so positive about, what we're doing. But at this point, the rubber needs to hit the road, and we've got to satisfy current members, and we need to make these shifts in activity. And that honestly does feel really hard right now. So this is a critical month for me mentally. Tomorrow's my birthday too, so it's a milestone of like time to wake up to take this next year on in a better and smarter way.
Happy birthday, Doug.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have two big events tomorrow, one in Phoenix and one in Denver, and I could only go to one of them. So that's why it feels so hard. It's like I should have been with Lindsay in Denver, but I've got to be in Phoenix. But I love the idea of having us cover MIPIM and Select USA, and it can't be one person. And so how do we find ways? I need to go to I'm going to go to Select LA, which is April 28th for my first time, because I just need to be connected here locally, and I probably go to Select USA next year. But how do we kind of manage that? Because members are there. The meeting I had to jump off in is a new member, and they have some ideas, and they have a delegation of 60 is it Korean companies? 60 Korean companies that they're hosting at their office in DC right before Select USA. And so there's like so many things going on, Jim. So
Yeah, well, and my friend
figure
used to
it out.
run it from Kotra. So Kotra used to run it. Those were some of my friends in Korea that ran Kotra, and they told me, and it's many countries that do this. And Doug, I know when we talk later, I may have a little more radical way of restructuring. You know what I mean?
Cool.
As we know, there's a couple models out there how you become more efficient, more profitable, and getting people more engaged than a corporate top down, but almost a bottom up, and just ways of structure. I would just say franchise operations and others, right? A business in a box. If you reorganize how global chambers run from an org chart, allowing those in the 605 metros, and maybe some of them are corporate owned, you own, versus some tertiary markets where you get an alignment of an individual that has the passion, that owns it, that basically controls it within guidelines of global chamber. Maybe that's a structure. Otherwise, you're in too many places doing too many things without the resources to handle it. So sometimes, it's growing pains. You're getting into the next evolution of your organization or company.
No question. Thank you for understanding.
I always do. and I care about you, Doug. That's why I keep hanging around and go, oh my gosh, poor guy.
So Doug, I think we went through everybody. I don't think Andre had a chance to speak yet, or share his stories. I'm not sure if Andre is on the line, because you did mention he had a story that he wanted to share with you, right? So.
Okay. Yeah, Andre, if you can hear us, thank you for your conversation earlier about your activities in the Gulf states and in Eastern Europe, including Belarus. We'll circle back with you on that. Thank you for taking the time today to share. Oh, I think I see you unmuted. You're in Moscow, so it's got to be pretty late in Moscow.
It's not late, actually. It's okay. So it's late in India. I also represent the Global Chamber Pune. So, but basically, it's not late in Moscow. It's around like 6 o'clock, 5:47 right now. So basically, what I think this conversation is leading me to one interesting idea. Look, I had the connection with people like who migrated from their home countries, and I have one startup from France, so which is run by non-residential Iranian and non-residential Russian lady who's presently Polish. She took a Polish passport right now. So, and they
You're up to
do
5 countries already.
well, no, like, but I'm kind of like I'm trying to support the people like me who are like not on the same line, let's say, with what's happening like in their own country, but keep pushing it forward globally. So naturally, I have this kind of network as well. So basically, like what I think, and I'll try to connect you. So I will find the deck. I will email you that tomorrow. So that will be my birthday present to you as well. So happy upcoming birthday. So like, and they do a very interesting thing. We haven't finalized any, like, we can say engagement, formally speaking. So, but I think that can be of interest. They do the selection basing on the AI machinery of the target countries. So, for instance, you export something or you plan to invest into certain area. So the AI machine does the competitors analysis, does the regulational analysis, this kind of thing. Presently, and personally speaking, I do not believe in 200% AI. So I think that it still should be human touch on the ground, which will be navigating the people. But primary thing is getting into AI clearly. So that will also create the value for the people, let's say like running trade or investment into a certain country kind of thing. So what's happening right now, like in GCC, so everyone is like, is restructuring, let me put it this way. Because it's clearly that, for instance, Dubai prices are crashing down. So, but it's not clear like how big is the thing. So like, and right now people, I will understand that better when I get back like during the second half of April. So I plan to celebrate my birthday back to Dubai, and I will tell you like what's happening, what is the correction right now. Some of the guys, they keep doing business as usual, and some of the guys corrected already. So, but again, what can be the value for global chamber? As for me, is like that combination of systematic and human approach, because your human approach is extremely valuable. So it brings value, it brings also culture, and it brings also certain, we can say, outreach, which no one can do. Like that's a very big club thing right now. So like, and you can trust people on the ground, and you can trust people who have been running business in different locations. So like, I will try to find this technology, and maybe that will be the, we can say, white label offer for global chamber. So like, and members will try to get it, and that will also bring monetization to global chamber in a certain way.
Sounds good. Thank you for sharing. Look forward to next steps. So Jim, I think that, and Ellen, I think that brings us to the end. Do you want to make any final comments, either or both of you?
I'm just looking forward to the next evolution, right? The next growing pains, right? The next leveling up for, the organization you created, Doug. So just happy to be here, part of the ride, part of the journey.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Looking forward to the meeting later today. Ellen, anything that we can do for you, and any final comments?
Well, I just want to say that, I really value, all the participants' comment, and I think we'll take that into consideration, and then Doug we'll work together on planning out more structured presentations for our upcoming meetings. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
And of course, happy birthday, Doug.
Oh,
Enjoy your
Yes.
birthday.
Happy
Yes.
birthday.
I don't say happy birthday because in Portugal we have okay, I can say that is a superstition. We don't congratulate birthdays in advance. It's
I
bad
see.
luck. They say.
Okay.
So
yeah.
tomorrow I will ping you.
Okay.
Okay. I'll see you tomorrow.
It's good about that, Paula. Thank you. Cultural stuff. It's good to know these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
May I say something? We have some 2 minutes or so. I like the idea that Scott just put on the table. He's totally right. It's a basic thing. Come on, who will give you a referral? Who will think about a certain country like Portugal, for instance, or Canada, or if they don't know anything about? So. I don't know if he mentioned, I don't know if the thing he had in mind, it was those 5 or 10 minutes in this real estate roundtable. I didn't get that. But If so, perhaps I think it would be okay, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and the rest of the meeting, okay, we do the same that we are doing here, which is wonderful. I love these meetings, the small meetings where we brainstorm and know what are the most profound thoughts from the team, and that is very good. So I had thought past year with Doug, but I didn't put that on the table yet about doing something specifically to Iberia, about business in Iberia in general. Doug, I'm waiting for Yuka. She's very busy. So, but it will happen. But this is I don't know. I don't know all the meetings Global Chamber has. I know about regions, about Africa, about Kenya, about the big metros in the US. But outside of the US, I don't see so many data, so many presentations, so many. Perhaps I'm wrong. But I don't see nothing about Portugal. That's my fault, of course, because it should have come to the table already.
Let's change it. We just had a new member join yesterday from Portugal, and so
You did?
she's very interested in connecting
Wow.
in. And so let's you and John and the lady's name is Maria. And so we'll get you connected and let's do
Yes,
some
please
stuff for
do.
Portugal for sure.
Please do. Yes. Yes. Great.
Cool.
That's great. So
Have
that's
a
what I
great
want
rest
to
of
do.
your day. It's my grandmother's birthday
Oh.
today. Emma brings she would have been 125 today. And
Wow. Yeah.
so good happy birthday, Nana, my Nana, which I called Nanner. And I didn't understand why I called her Nanner, but it's because my father was from Brooklyn, and the way you say Nana in Brooklyn is Nanner. And I called her Nanner when she was 99 years old, still. So I love my Nanner. Take care, everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Ciao, Paola.